I'm gonna record this too if that's cool.
That's fine. I'm not gonna like present to you though. I'm pretty much
No,
just
you're
gonna
good. Just yeah, walk us through how it worked, what's working, talk about some of the results that are happening. Yeah, absolutely. So
all
Joan's
right.
Crocker, everybody.
So yeah, so what I did is I just created this and like honestly, some like I feel like a Snoop group isn't anything new. Like everybody's been doing that. We
Right.
have, a lot of people who are like doing sneak peeks for coaching. I mean, I've been doing that for like 3.5 years. We've been doing sneak peeks into challenge groups, or like I think maybe it was Andrea who came up with like the term Snoop group for that, and she, um, you know in November, I started doing that with Snoop groups for challenge groups coming up. And it was like hot for the holidays challenge group. So when 80 Day Obsession was about to launch, I just feel like I've never had anything that was duplicatable for my team. I've always been able to like, be like, okay, you know, um, I got great results with 22-minute hardcore test group. And then I was able to go out there and post about them and then, make high SC numbers really quickly. But like, I couldn't figure out how to translate that to my team, like how to make that duplicate. And with this, I was like, all right, I know that 80 Day Obsessions completely changed my mindset. It's completely changed, my body, my health. And I was like, how can I make sure that my team can take advantage of this for the launch? And it literally was on a plane on my way back from California from Thanksgiving, and I was like, let's do a launch party. And so this like group that we've created, the Snoop group, is that launch party. And I didn't really know what we were going to do for content for it, but I just knew that if we could get some like donuts out there to invite and we could get people in there, then I could put something together to share that would help our whole team sell it together as a team rather than them all going out individually and trying to do this on their own. And so the group really does, like, it just shares value, and it shares like what the product is, obviously what the program is, like what the challenge group is, but it's not attacking it from like, here's the specs, like that you could just go look up at, in an FAQ or go watch like the infomercial or whatever. It's really like about more making it into a journey and sharing like personal stories and things like that so that it's selling it
Right.
because they can see themselves in it. So it works really well that way. It also works because you're able to share with as many people as possible because you can just keep adding them in there. So you're saving time. And then all of their questions are being answered before you even start a conversation with them. And it's, literally attacking all of the objections too. So like, I know we talk all about like post to your page, like it's a sneak peek. And this is like kind of what we do with the group. So what do I put in it? I started with like a video montage. So I'm not sure if you've seen the montage that I created. I posted it to YouTube, and I know I am getting a lot of like random people liking it and commenting over there.
Hey, Joan, are you able to expand your slide? It cuts off the words.
Maybe.
Just if you hit play.
Okay. Then I can't,
Yes.
but then I can't see you. That's weird.
Really?
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
Does make me feel good. So thank you.
Well, I just feel like I'm talking to myself.
I'm here. I'll inject some ohs and ahs as you
All right. Yeah. So I'm not sure if you saw that video that I created, but essentially what I did is, and anybody who's gone through the program can do this. And our group was very 80 Day Obsession specific, but like you can turn it into anything. It could be for 3-day refresh. It could be
Right.
for it could be for anything. So what I did was I took my results, I took pictures that I had, and I didn't have like this all planned. So it wasn't even compiled anywhere, but because I've
I
been
love
sharing,
it.
right? Like, but because I've been sharing my journey, I was able to, I literally laid in bed one night with my phone and I looked at all of my Instagram photos and videos that I had posted from just before I started 80 Day Obsession till afterwards. And I just hit like save on all of them and put them in one little file on my phone. And then using iMovie, created a movie and just shortened all the clips so that it wouldn't be like super long. And then, so that was created, and I was like, okay, I want to put like music on this or something. And I realized that if I put music on it, it was probably going to be taken off of YouTube or Facebook. So I couldn't do that. And that the video was too long anyways to put on Instagram. So I literally just used the voiceover feature, and I ended up talking through my journey. Like what
Oh,
I
that's
was,
cool.
yeah, like what I was feeling before I started, what I was feeling during like the first few weeks, how it felt going through like birthdays and things like that when I knew I wasn't going to be able to like drink or do things that I normally would. Like feeling like my summer had ended,
Right.
all of that stuff and how long it was going to last. So I literally walked, just talked through it. And that was the first, I did it the morning that we started the launch party, and I threw it in there. And the reaction was like crazy. People weren't even actually looking through the rest of the group. They were just signing up right then and there. And I think that's really important because it's not really just about creating these groups. It's about like what you're putting in them. That's what's
Makes
going to,
sense.
right? Like that's what's going to make somebody like sign up or not sign up. And I mean, my team was crying when they were watching the video. So
Well, and I think too, Joan, I actually like the voiceover part. I think it personalizes the heck out of it, and it's not something different. It's not like this. Oh my gosh, that's a new concept, but it's presented in
right.
a way that people can connect with. I think it's great.
Right. And like we're always told like stories sell, you know what I mean? And that's what you want to share. So I think it's really important because anybody can start that out, whether they can share whatever their journey has been through Beachbody. They can take their first picture of when they first started and now, and it doesn't matter if they use multiple programs or whatever. So going into like a new program, you could do that. Then social proof. So we put a lot of like before and afters in there. So I took them from the test group. So of course, any new program that's starting with test group participants, you could grab those. But I made sure to not just take pictures. Like I didn't just grab like Christina Delgado's before and after. I didn't just grab like Monica Lopez's before and after. I took the posts that they put on like Facebook or on Instagram, and I took a screenshot of that and posted it in there so people could see the full story, the whole story, like the person and like what they went through, not just this other random before and after picture that nobody can
Sure.
relate. So that worked really well. We had a post on the performance line because I know that a lot of people will be like, oh, I'm already spending money. Like you want me to add this to it now, and then you start getting those objections about like spending more money. So we wanted to cover that before anybody even, balked at it. And it was sharing that all those photos that you just saw in those photo albums that we put in there, they used the performance line. And if you're, new to working out, some of the biggest things that happen that throw people off their game is they get sore. And so they skip a workout and then that turns into 1, 2, 3 workouts skipped. But like Recover is going to make sure that you're not quite as sore and that you're able to push
Sure.
through. Energize is going to give you, it's going to give you energy so that you want to press play on your workout when you're feeling a little unmotivated. And it's going to make sure that the lactic acid buildup doesn't happen so that like you're able to push harder and you're going to get better results. And so we started talking about those things and we just made like a simple post with that one so they could read through it. And right at the top, we said, we know what you're thinking right now. I'm already spending money. Like, I don't want to spend more. Here's why you should. And it so that went through that objection. We did have somebody go live, just another coach in my team, go live in there in just less than 5 minutes. We wanted to keep everything so people could get in and out within like 20 minutes and look at all like 9 posts that we put in there. So what to expect in the challenge group, talked about motivation, accountability, and like what gets shared in there and who's in there. But again, from the perspective of why it's helped them stay on track. So Shannon is the one who did it in our group and she's a mom. She had kids like literally yelling in the background and like dogs barking and all this stuff happening, which happened like, just because, but we were like, that's perfect. Don't change it when she wanted to edit it. Cause we were like, that just shows that you are a real human being with like other stuff going on and this group's helping you. So
Absolutely. That makes sense.
we shared the infomercial because we just figured it's short, it's sweet, it gets people excited. You guys spend tons of money making them for a reason. It's just like the same reason why like I can watch Insanity on an infomercial on TV over and over again and I want to like go buy the product again. So I was like, all right, let's share that. We have other posts that we made that were like, are you a new mom? Can you do this program? And then for nutrition, the nutrition video I put up, like I know everybody was really curious about, what was so different with this and what they were going to eat and how it was set up and what's time nutrition and stuff like that. So I touched on that like really quickly, but I more so talked about how, females have been lied to for like a really long time and told that we need to eat 1,200 calories, that we need to do, tons of cardio. And what it's resulted in is almost every single female I know feels bad about their body, is unhappy, hates dieting, can't stick to anything, and really doesn't love what they're seeing in the mirror or like buying clothes. And that this is a completely different program, and that you're going to eat more than you ever have. We're going to learn to fuel your body and have a good relationship with food. And that you're going to lift heavier and heavier, and you're not going to get bulky. And, if you need social proof, again, go back and look at those photos. And so that's what that's about. Quickly go into like the, what to expect time-wise for the program. Cause we had Mariah go in there and talk about equipment and the actual workouts. And she just talked about how she's a mom, she's as a nurse overnights, and that like 45-minute to an hour workouts seemed like they weren't going to be doable for her, but how she's been able to do that. So those are the topics that we put in there, and how much it is. We put like, literally, we just threw it out there, like exactly how much it is. I shared just the blue image that, you guys created that has the 3 different packs. And so I wasn't reinventing the wheel. I just threw it in there. It's all out there for them to see. And because they're able to see, like, that thing is brilliant, because they're able to see all 3 packs lined up together. Nobody wants to go with the base pack. So we have a lot more combo pack sales because of that, because they can see the comparison and what they're getting.
Sure.
And so that's worked really well for us too, with price objections, because they already know. So when we're at the end of it and they've gone through these units and they've looked at these posts, you can literally say, which pack are you leaning towards, rather than like, okay, so now's what I have to sell. You know what I mean? So it's all right out there.
That makes sense.
Why does it work? It works because it's giving our coaches a place to invite to at all times. They have something to invite to because we never close it. It's open all the time. And we don't have to recreate it. So it's time saver. And so these brand new coaches who are like, I want to get going, but I'm actually afraid to reach out because during that conversation, I might be asked questions that I don't know how to answer. They don't have to worry about it because our whole team is answering those questions for them.
Can I ask you a question on that?
Yeah.
Do you ever find that in the group or in that feed that it gets like not confusing, but like certain posts are getting above other posts?
No, and I'm going to show you why in a second.
Yes. Because I know coaches are going to ask that. So I'm excited to see it.
I'm going to show you why. It's duplicatable because these guys can sign up brand new coaches themselves and say, yep, no worries. Like, you're going to start the conversation this way. You're going to invite them to this group. They're going to get all the information that they need. And here's how you're going to follow up with them. So that's super simple.
Yep.
It works with every product launch. It's a time saver. Like I said, I could never have gone elite last year if I didn't have this, because I would have been spending so much time in each conversation answering every single question from start to finish. But with this, it made it so that they knew most of the information. And so if I did have to answer a question, it was something very specific to them that I could help them work through.
Was there anything else, Joan? Because I love that point of it, because I remember your push for Elite that last month. Was there anything else or any other areas that it helped with in specific pushing for Elite?
Yeah, because it helped my coaches do the same thing. So they were saving time too. I mean, I don't know if like Meg had 36 Success Club points or something like that. And it was just helping everybody get super excited. Like, my whole team was like pumped. Even after just seeing that one montage video I created, they were like, oh my God, I got to get all my people in here. And so then everybody was using the same system, signing on their coaches and using the same system. And I mean, I don't know if you've looked at the downline lately, but everybody is like, everybody's in star qual of some sort right now.
So for those that don't know this, that are going to watch this recording, without going into a ton of detail, how does it impact? Well, actually, let's finish the why does it work, and then maybe I'll have you explain what are you seeing within your team, like what are some of the results?
Sure.
Like with the downline that's happening now. So sorry, keep going.
Yeah, so to invite to it, it's made it really easy too, because like, this is a system, right? And I just realized that like, as a coach, my job is to create the most simple systems, period, that I use that work, that I can pass on to somebody else and they can work, and that like it'll work for them too. And so with this, we're using the donuts like concept that Carl, coined. We're using text replacement, and we're using Power 15s to help them get people into the Snoop group. And so I don't know if I go into detail about text replacement or anything in these slides. I can answer those questions for you if you want. after. And then on the challenger side, it's working from all those things that we just said. It's combating fear. They're able to look through, they're able to see other people are just like them. They get their answers to all of their questions without having to feel like they're bugging somebody by asking tons of questions. It's all laid out for them. There's no hidden like, oh, this costs money. Like they see it right then and there. So they don't feel like they've been like roped into something and then like told it costs more than they can afford. It's really showing the value that we have to offer. It's not just a workout and why it works and why it's going to work for them. And then it allows them to just do it on their own time too. So they're not like sitting there having to like talk back and forth with somebody while they're trying to like make dinner or put the kids to bed or like drive or whatever. They can literally say, I'm going to watch this tonight after the kids go to bed. And then you can set up a time to sign, I'm going to check in with you tomorrow. And that way, that just works better too. And then they get really, really excited when they watch that montage video and when they see all the social proof from other people going through it. So they start thinking like, this can work for me. What else? So how to set up the group. So let me talk about that. So we use the social learning group. This is a new group type that they set up on Facebook. You can only do this through the social learning group. None of the other group types work. And you have to use it. Like what it does is it allows you to create these units so that they always stay in the right order. They never go out of order. And so
this is a specific type of Facebook group that can be created.
Yeah. And so they always stay in order and the group stays really clean. And what it also is cool, what's cool about that too, is in the past when we've done a group where we're doing like a challenge, like a Snoop group into a challenge or something like that, and we have multiple cooks in the kitchen trying to create these videos, it's always been like, oh, should you go next? Should you go next? Should you go next? But with this, it doesn't matter because we could all throw our stuff in at the same time, create our content that we're putting in there, and then organize it by unit and then put it out there. And it's all exactly how it should be. And it makes it so that you can put like something as mandatory for them to go to or optional. So like, for instance, when I put up the new mom post, I make that optional because, not everybody's a new mom, so they can click right through it and move to the next unit. And it walks them through. The second they get into that group, it's going to say start units. And after they've seen a video, at the bottom of the screen, it says next unit. And so you can go right through it. So let me show you.
Okay.
So when you go to create a group, you just create a group like normal. Mm-hmm. Once it's created, you hit more and you'll see that you can choose your group type. And then this little box will pop up where it says pick group type. And that's where you have the social learning one. That's the one you're going to click. And so once you're in there, you can see, I just took a screenshot of some of ours, but you can see like, next unit, next unit, next unit. So when you're in the group, I probably should have shared like a little screenshot of what that looks like. I can actually probably just show you live after this slide.
Yeah.
But like that way you can see, they can just watch things and then click right through to the next unit.
And so to review with me, so when you or your team are going and making a post, you basically select which unit this needs to be going into, and then it'll populate it into whatever applicable unit.
Mm-hmm. So it's cool too, because if you're going to start any new training groups for your team or anything like that, you can use these types of groups now for that too. So you can have like a basics group, for instance, and you can set your different topics, and then you can have your different units within, like your different, I guess they're called units within there, so that like, okay, now I've finished this chunk, and then you can go on to like the next unit. So unit 1 would be about this, and it has several different pieces, and then like it's way easier to organize things.
Yeah, then even by uploading files or taking down the posts and uploading posts.
Yeah, and I love that like you can create these groups, they're not going to get messed up, they're not going to get out of order, and you can like just have them up and use them forever. Like you never have to recreate the wheel again. So Power 15s for inviting. What I've been doing with my team is on Tuesdays, we've been doing a Power 15. So rather than your Power Hour, which like, quite frankly, I just can't do. I just don't have an hour. Like I get bored. I don't want to sit there for an hour. And I don't want to go over with them like, okay, now we find friends. Now we do this. Now we post, like I just don't want to do that. Plus with the Power 15s, I think it's showing some of our people who've been making excuses and saying like they just don't have time for their business, that they actually do have time for their business. So within the Power 15, the first 5 minutes of the Power 15, what I do is I help them come up with a donut, with an invite. And I have them write it out or text it out. And then I have them copy it and paste it into text replacement. So I can't see you, but you can see me, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if you have an iPhone, you can do it on an Android too, but I don't know how to do it on Android because I don't have one, but you can definitely look it up. But if you go to settings on your phone and then you go to general and you go to keyboard,
Predicted text.
you'll see text replacement.
Yep.
And then in there, there's a little, plus sign at the top that you can use, and you can add whatever you want. So you can create your shortcut and make that whatever you want. So for instance, when I'm doing a power hour or a power 15, I have PH as my shortcut. So when I go to send a message to somebody, all I have to do is type in PH, and then in the middle, it'll show, it'll show that it started the full sentence of whatever my invite is. So in the phrase part of it, you're going to put your full invite. You can just copy and paste whatever you created as your text invite or your donut.
So there's the initial construction of the message, which takes a little bit of time, and then you never have to create it again.
No, and you can create different ones and all of that. But then I'm like, okay, now I know all of you have an invite. Like none of you are going to be sitting there thinking, what should I write? Or, oh my God, what should I say? Like you've got it. And then I make it a little fun competition. So for the next 10 minutes, I want them to send out as many donuts as they possibly can. And whoever at the end, I literally like, we'll play music. We just like giggle and like whatever. But like, as we're doing it, I say at 10 minutes, I say, put your phones down. And then everybody puts their phones down. They look at me. We're on a Zoom call, but they're working on their phones. And I'll say, okay, now count. How many people did you send out a donut to or an invite to? And from there, I say, and then, throw it in the comment section of the Zoom.
Right.
So what happens is that everybody starts, they're going as fast as they can. They want to send as many invites as they can so that they can win something. And typically it's just like a PD book or like a water bottle or something silly. But they, and really it's just for bragging rights. But you'll notice that people will send anywhere between like 30 and up to 100 invites in 10 minutes. And so when I went and I looked at it, I averaged it out at the end of the call. And I'm like, okay, so the average amount of people invited, per person during this is around like 60 invites per person.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And I'm like, and I was like, if you add it all up, and I'll add it all up for them, and I'll be like, look how many people our team just invited and how many people that like they could help, like how many lives could change because of this. And so it really breaks it down for them, because I'm like, you guys, that was 10 minutes. Like, if Katie can send out 85 invites in 10 minutes, like nobody has an excuse to say they can't send out 5 to 10 invites during the day. Like there's just no excuse there. And so what it's been doing, it's really like changed their mindset and eliminated like, I don't have time for this. And it's made it a lot more fun for them because they have the text replacement. They know exactly how to go out there and just start messaging people. And then power 15 for follow-up. So that we do that Tuesday, and I tell them, track your stuff. Like these are people that we're not just going to like hit and run. We have to follow up with them. It's more salesy if you send an invite and then you never talk to them ever again. So in 2 days, I want you to have them as a list, whether you're using Teamsy or a spreadsheet or, notebook or whatever it is. I want you to have them as a list. And in 2 days, we're going to do another power 15 and we're going to follow up with those guys. So again, first 5 minutes, I have them create either a text message or a voice replacement. So using voice messenger, I have them just record themselves and have them send it to their own messenger. So like they just like, I would be like, Joan's messaging Joan right now. And that way I type on it like all blue, right? Because that means that if I get to a message while I'm following up with somebody and it's all blue, like I'm the only person who's been reaching out to that person and has had no response for 3, 4, 5, 6 messages, then I can hit that little voice message to them. And instead of another text message, it's my voice and it's me saying something silly like, oh my God, you must think I'm stalking you. I just went to go message you and I realized it's all blue. It's all me. Totally not meaning to bug. I know that you said at one point you were interested. I have this amazing group coming up. I would love to have you in it, but if I'm bugging you, just literally tell me to bug off, right? And so then people will be like, oh, what is this voice message? They actually listen to it. And then because they hear you, that you're a normal person and that you're being kind of funny, they message you back. So we create a voice message, we create a text message, follow up, and then again, literally that's the first 5 minutes. And then the next 10 minutes is that little competition of like, let's send as many follow-ups as you can, get through that list. If you get to the end of your follow-up list within that 10 minutes, that's cool. Like just start messaging other people with donuts. Like, and so that's how we've been really making it so that the whole team, including new people, are inviting. It's not scary because they have something to invite to. It's also not scary because they know exactly what they're going to say and they're on a Zoom with us. So if somebody does respond back afterwards, they can go, oh, this person just wrote back to me and said this, what should I say? But they don't even really need to do that because what I'm going to show you next. So I'm not going to go into Instagram stories or Facebook posts because this is something I just shared with Monica's team. But, really, I just talked about how part of getting people in the group is that we are using Instagram stories. We're showing proof of ourselves and our journey. We're showing proof of the people in our challenge groups, and all of that, showing our lifestyle and all of that through Facebook, through Instagram, and doing that. So everybody knows about that right now. But here is a little flow of how that all works. So we start with the invite. Donuts are great for this. If they respond that they're interested in any way, we're just saying, awesome, I have a Snoop group going on right now. It's just a little info group all about insert whatever the Snoop group's about. Want me to add you so you can check it out and we can check questions afterwards. I never get a no to that. Like if somebody has said that they may be interested and I send that, nobody ever says no. They always say, okay, or sure, or yes, or like whatever. And then from there, if they say yes, of course, we add them into the group. So there's a little, screenshot of our group. And then from there, if they say they're going to look at it right then and there, then, because I will ask them that, like, are you going to look at it right now? Then I will follow up with them in about 30 minutes because I know it only takes like 20 to get through the whole thing. If they say, no, I'm going to watch it tonight, I'll say something like, awesome. Like if I don't hear back from you tonight, I'll follow up with you tomorrow night. So within 24 hours, if you don't hear back from them, check back in. You can literally just say, hey, did you take a peek? Any questions? It looks awesome, right? Like, you ready to join us? If they say I'm ready, then literally sending the picture of, again, the packs, even though they're in the group, and saying, awesome, which pack are you leaning towards? Or which pack would you like? When they tell you, you share the cart. If they have questions, obviously you answer those. But the biggest question I'll get is like, what pack should I get? And I always recommend at least the combo because I'm like, you're going to want to start this and do it to a T. For at least the first 30 days, I would say give it a try with the performance line, with Shakeology. You're a busy mom, like having one meal a day that you can throw in the blender and have it done. If you're making 5 meals a day in house is going to, make your life easier. And then I just talk up why the performance line. So that's what we've been doing. And then this part with Monica, I shared this with her and they really loved this, but, just examples of our invites, super duper simple. So this is what you can create for your text replacement. Clearly make it your own so that not everybody is sending the same exact message. And then if you accidentally send a message to somebody who's got a message, they're like, wow, you're all saying the same exact thing. So
hey, love.
Right? Like something like that. I mean, that's me. Like that's how I talk, but like somebody else doesn't talk like that. So, insert your own verbiage. I just said, if they respond, see below. If they don't, wait 2 days and then check back in with them. And you can just use the, hey, just checking back in. Wanted to make sure you saw my message and if you had any interest or any questions. I even give them responses. Like these are the responses that I typically get. Like, I've never heard of it. What is it? Or I've seen your post. You guys are rocking it. What's it all about? Or something of like that nature. If it's not a no, then definitely jump in and say, oh my God, I'm loving it. I'm eating more than I ever have. Toning, losing, feeling great. I actually have a little info group. Want me to add you to it? They say yes, you add them. Once you add them in there, I do make sure to tag them in the pinned post because I want just, even though it says start units, I feel like they're going to get that notification once I tag them that says like you're added in this group and Joan just tagged you here. So it's almost like a reminder to go in. I tell them, check out the 7 posts, check out the photo album. Let's chat when you're done. And, some will message back ASAP, some won't, but you always want to follow up with them. And then if you're going to follow up, here's the follow up. did you get a chance to check out the group? Any questions? If questions, answer them. But most of the time it's how do I get started? Or yeah, I totally want to join. With that, I do the, what pack do you want? Send the image of the packs. And then, yeah, I saved them to my phone, the packs. So like if it's somebody who already has BOD, I'll send them that one. If it's somebody who doesn't, I'll send them that one. And then I just told you about that, what I recommend. So yeah, that's it. And then I think that's it. Yes.
Exit. My questions. No, I think that's
see you if I exit. There we go.
I think that's great. Because I mean, not that you want to be prescriptive in this business at all, but you're providing your coaches with the how-to and walking them through the process, and hopefully as time goes on, they adapt it to themselves, and they get more confident. They're able to kind of go and evolve it to where it's going to be, not that this isn't great, but even better than what this is, right? So that's exciting to me. Mention what this has done for your downline. And I know this isn't the only reason you're seeing volume and growth and leaders advancing, but kind of explain what's going on there.
I think it's just built the confidence within people. Like they know exactly what to do to invite somebody or what to do during a power hour. They know they have enough time to do it. They know that they have the power of the team to help them with any questions that they have. At the bottom of that flow chart that I showed you, it says like, if somebody goes into that group, for instance, 80-day obsession, and they're like, oh, like this is too hard for me, I can't do that workout. Then I point them to other resources that we have that brings them back to like, here's where you just start forming your person. Here's like where you can use our other conversation templates and combo examples that we've used in the past to show you how to get through that conversation. So, I mean, they're not all going to flow perfectly, but I think it's just created resources for people that they can use at any time. And so they're more willing to put the work in because they're not afraid that they don't know how to do it. And so with that, I've seen way more people in Success Club. I've seen a lot more people inviting. I've seen a lot more people we had more people in SE10 last month than we did in SE5. And it was it was absolutely a result of them using this, but then also, going into our page and sharing like, this is what I'm doing. So then there's even more social proof. So people are realizing like, yes, it's part of, social media. We're posting to stories. We're using, that. Yes, it's part of being proof the product works, but this is just like another piece of the puzzle that's helping everybody succeed and just go for it.
How do I word this? Any roadblocks or any rough patches as you've implemented this, or things that you've had to learn that if people tried to do this, that you might warn them of, or to, hey, be aware of this. This is something you'll probably need to adjust or kind of hit with a fine-tooth comb at all?
I think that when we first started doing the units piece, because we did originally start in just a regular group, when we first started doing the units, people were thinking that they weren't getting as many people saying yes, but it was because we were just relying on saying like, go through the units when you go in there, and people were going and seeing and like starting, but literally tagging them in that first video is probably the most important piece.
Yeah.
That's what gets them to be like, oh yeah, I'm in this group, and to start paying attention to it. And I honestly would just say too, that one of the things that came up when we transitioned from our launch party into just this ongoing Snoop group, and the only reason we changed it, because we kept it open for a long time and we were using it, but some of our topics were talking about like Christmas coming up and stuff like that. So we wanted to clean it up. And when we did that, I had a lot of the coaches on our team be like, well, I'd like my face to be in the video, and I would like to, be the one presenting this topic. And I'd like to be the one, like, I want to share this. And while that's awesome, we as a team had to look at it and take a step back, because we've kind of created this little leadership team of our team where we all kind of work together. We had to kind of step back and go, do I want my face in there because I want people to see me, or do I want my face in there because what I have is actually adding value to this group? And so once we did that, we were able to cut down the content so that it was literally like, Riley, will you let Georgie in? He's tapping at the door. It was like we boiled it down to what was actually more important of value to those people who are going to be added into the group. And all of our topics and all of our videos and stuff, we made sure to like keep that in mind. We even had some people redo theirs, like after they put up the challenge group post, they're like, oh, like, yeah, you're right. So we looked at it with an eye where all of us looked at it. And then we said, okay, now everybody go back and look at your content and ask yourself, if you were a brand new person being added to this group, if this would answer your questions, you know, get rid of some of your fears and help you make a decision to say yes. And if not, then we need to revisit that and change it.
Yep.
And so those were a couple things that we did and that we learned, and just to keep things really short. And I know a lot of the times going live or creating a video is much easier for us as coaches time wise, because we don't have to go and like think and type something out. We can just go talk. But many of those times, those videos end up being a lot longer, and you also have to think about the person that's watching them. And for me, like if a video lasts longer than like a minute, I'm out. Like I really I get very bored. And so with that in mind, we wanted to make sure that if we were putting a video in there, that it was staying very short, like 3 minutes or less. And if we were except for the montage video, which was a little longer. And if any other post could be done better or help somebody get through it much quicker in an actual text post, that's what we did.
Cool. No, that's money, Joan. That was eye-opening for me to just kind of see the process and like you said, the workflow.
Let me see if I can share with you the group real quick.
No worries.
You can just see it, like see the units in play. And of course, it's going to look a little different because I'm a admin, so it won't show as if I just like added a new person. But I have all these messages popping up. Hold on.
And are you cool with me sharing this with coaches or?
Sure.
Okay. I just got a couple mastermind groups. I think it would be good, but I didn't know if it's. And
it'd be awesome if I'm being recorded right now, and I was like, no.
It would be awesome, actually. No. Sorry.
All right. So here's the group. So we use test group results as our image at the top, and you can see here's the 9 units. I'm an admin, so of course you can see I can create them or whatever. But if you were to come in here, it literally would just stop here and say like, start units. And so when you click in there, you can see here's the first unit. You can, hit play or whatever. You see that that's the montage that I created.
The summer started like any other time at the lake with family.
Can you
go next unit? And then that brings them to nutrition one, next unit. So you see it keeps it all very.
That's great. Can you, do you mind adding me to the group?
Yes.
You were going to say no.
Yeah, I was. No, I'm kidding. Here you go.
I want to go watch these, so.
Sure.
Cool. No, this is great. It's really good. I mean, it's the thing that I like about it is, did it take some upfront setup and planning and just sit down and crappy logistical business work? Yes. But here's the thing. It's paying off, and it's going to pay off so much because you're not having to reinvent the wheel. Like I said, you're not having to recreate all these assets. So I really think this is great. And I think there's a ton of value to it. So great job.